Happy Friday, Homestead. It's Kelly Ronsheimer here with your daily dose of yoga. Today we're going to breathe in, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top, 2, 1. And out, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the bottom, 2, 1. 2 more times like that. In, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top, 2, 1, and out, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the bottom, 2, 1. Biggest breath of your day, arms up, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top, exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come all the way down, bend your knees a lot. And while you're down here, I want you to separate your feet, shoulders width apart. You can grab opposite elbows, or I like to tuck my hands in opposite elbows, and you're simply going to sway back and forth. I'm doing yoga with you today that I do in order to feel relaxed. And I want you just to take maybe 5 times to each side where you're just rocking your body, rocking your pelvis. You can choose to do this just with the arms, or you can add in the legs. I like to add in both. Okay, once you feel evened out, we're going to come up to a halfway lift. I'm going to bring you sideways, okay, onto your mat. And you're going to come all the way back down, halfway lift, and a few more of those. All the way back down, halfway lift. Just practicing warming up our hamstrings. And I am warm, so I'm actually going to take off my overshirt. Okay, now you're going to bring your hands all the way up above your head on an in-breath. On an out-breath, come all the way back down, bend your knees. On an in-breath, halfway lift. On an out-breath, I want you to bring your legs back to plank and go ahead and plant your knees down. We're going to do some rolling cobras where you're going to come up and you're going to look one direction, squeezing your butt tight to protect your lower back. Come back down, look the other direction, same thing. And then this one will come to the middle. And I want you to come back into child's pose. You can either have your hands stretched out in front, you can bring them here by your sides, or you can even bring them on your back. Whatever feels most comfortable for you. From here, we're going to come up to all fours position, and we're going to do a sunbird pose where you're going to take your right leg up off the ground along with your left arm. And this is a great pose. It's very dynamic. It encompasses balance, flexibility, and strength. And we're going to do 5 movements where we bring the elbow to the knee. 2. If you want to do it on the breath, it's an out breath in. In breath when you get long. 3. 4. 5. Now, before you bring your leg down, you're going to swivel your leg that's touching the ground so that it's like a kickstand. And you're going to come up to a modified plank pose. And in this modified plank, I just want you to float a little higher up. Maybe you're going to be a straight line, and then float back. This is really challenging your balance. You might want to keep your landed arm bent slightly. Do not lock out your elbow. And just playing with your balance a little. Okay, we're going to go ahead and come back to where we were. Your leg is still up. Okay, this time you're going to bring your right arm, or your left arm back, and you're going to grab whatever you can back there and see if you can do a half bow pose. This should feel really good in the front of your thigh. It's really good for balance. If you fall out, just smile and get back in. Okay? And finally, we're going to bring hand to the floor, foot to the floor, and we're going to come back to an upper push-up position. Go ahead and do a chaturanga. We're going to do those floating cobras again, where we go to one side, to the other side, and then straight down the middle, and push back into downward facing dog. So in this downward dog, it's our first one of the day. Go ahead and walk your dog, meaning you're going to bend each leg. I like to sometimes swivel my hips from side to side, or even take my heels and move them from side to side, just to get a bigger stretch down either the right or the left side of my body. Next, you're going to come back down to your knees, and we're going to do what we did on the other side. So you're going to raise your left leg now and your right arm, and you're going to bring them beneath you 5 times. On an out breath, in breath, 1, out breath, in breath, 2, out breath, in breath, 3, out breath, in breath, 4, out breath, in breath, 5. From here, you're going to kickstand your bottom foot out, keep your raised leg up, and bring the hand that's on the same side of your body as your leg into the air. And you're just going to do a little bit of floating your leg and your arm together, just to play with the balance. If you really want to challenge your balance, you can shut your eyes while you do this. You'll probably fall. I'm shutting my eyes right now and I feel like I'm about to fall. Okay, one more of those. Go ahead and bring your hands down. And what we're going to do now is have you bend in your back knee and grab it with your opposite arm, coming into a half bow. So you can see that you don't even need to get off the floor in order to do some really challenging and energizing yoga poses. Okay, finally we're going to go hand, knee, foot to the floor. And I'm going to have you tuck your back toes, come up to down dog. We're going to do pigeon today. Pigeon is a really good hip opener, and when you open the hips, you also relax the body. So bring the left leg up behind you and come forward, bringing your left foot to the right side of your mat and your knee in front of you. So from a front view, pigeon looks like this. Okay? So we're just going to be here, and if this hurts your knee, I've said before, you can go back into a laying down version of the same pose. But for today's class, we're going to try it this way, and if it does hurt, make sure that you go back into the seated position and get out. Don't do anything that tweaks your knee. Another way to protect your knee is to keep your foot flexed. And sometimes I can't get my leg straight as a traditional pigeon, so I even bend my knee in a lot, but I can still feel it on the outside. So take the variation that works for your body. If you're not sure, flip onto your back and take the figure 4. I'm going to use my bolster in front of me just to kind of really lean into it. And sometimes I like to shift over and back just to get a little bit more movement and suppleness through my hips. Okay, about 2 more breaths there. Next, you're going to come back to tuck your back toes under. You're going to come back to downward dog. And we're simply going to do the other side. So you're going to lift up your right leg this time, and you're going to bring it in front of you. Now your body is not created equally on both sides. One side may feel very different. For example, this side, I have to be careful with my knee a little more than the other side because it's just the way that my knee connects to my body. And I'm choosing to go in a bolster. You can use a towel, anything just to kind of lay yourself out. This should feel really good. You're not doing a lot of effort at this point. You're simply allowing yourself to drape over your bent knee. And this is typically a pose that comes at the end of a yoga practice when you are settling the body. 2 more breaths. Okay, as you come out, you're going to place your hands like in a plank position, tuck your back toes, and you're going to bring yourself back up to downward facing dog. We're going to do a pose that will give you a little twist here before we end. So bring one of your hands to the opposite calf or ankle and look underneath your armpit. It doesn't matter which side you do first. The more deeply you breathe, the more deeply you will go into the twist. You don't have to torque yourself into the twist. All you need to do is breathe, and it will take you there. Okay, other side. So replace the other hand. Grab the opposite leg that you didn't have, and look underneath your lovely armpit. Taking some nice deep breaths to get that stretch, to get those inner organs wrung out, to massage them. Okay, next I want you to bring your arms back to your feet. We're gonna finish with tree pose. And tree pose is a very well-known pose. You're gonna take your left leg and you're gonna place it onto your right thigh, okay? Or you're gonna place it onto your right ankle, calf, but never your knee. Okay, so I'm gonna place mine on my thigh because that's where mine feels good. I'm gonna push in so that my feet are pushing together just as my arms are pushing together. And whenever you're in tree pose, there's this idea of being rooted to the ground, of being very solid. And in order to make that a little more challenging, oh, it looks like I might not need it to be more challenging. You can look up. Okay, it doesn't have to be a huge movement. It can just be your eyes. You can raise your arms up. You can try closing your eyes, which I'm going to try and I'll most likely fall, but that's how you learn, so let me just try. Yeah, if I fell. Okay, so 2 more breaths in your tree pose. Oh. And now I'm having trouble getting back in. That's okay. All right, so 2 more breaths in your tree pose. When you're done, just go ahead and bring your foot to the ground and we'll do the other side, which is your right side. You're pushing in hard into your left leg with your right foot. And it looks like I'm a little bit off center compared to my background, but that's okay. So again, we'll try and we'll play around with it a little. Maybe we'll bring the branches up. Something you might want to try and do is sway, just for fun, just to see how do you do with it. Yoga should be fun and silly. It shouldn't be this, I mean, sometimes it's serious, but it doesn't always have to be. And maybe you bring your arms back or behind you for a totally different sort of tree pose. And then maybe you look up. Okay, that's where we're going to end today. Thank you so much. My name is Kelly Ronetheimer, and I wish you namaste.